Prevent Blindness is a well-established organization with a mission to prevent blindness and preserve sight. On this special episode of OCuTALK, we'll be talking to Jeff Todd, President and CEO of Prevent Blindness, about the importance of public awareness, education, and public policy advocacy for eye care conditions. Jeff?
I want to talk to you.
Not now, later.
No, now.
So today we're going to be speaking with Jeff Todd with Prevent Blindness. Jeff, thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So Prevent Blindness is a charitable organization. I think that the name explains a little bit, but why don't you give us a little bit about Prevent Blindness and its history?
Sure thing. We're a very old organization. We were founded in the early 1900s, about 13 years ago, or 113 years ago. And we have a rich history. We were founded initially with a very simple purpose of eradicating a form of infant blindness through public policy activities. Over the past century plus, though, we've really grown to be an organization that addresses all things vision and eye health. In the mid-century, in the 50s, we really focused in a lot on eye safety issues during the Industrial Revolution. And then as OSHA came in and took some of that away from us, we really expanded into adult eye health issues. And today we touch on anything related to eye health from birth to death. And so we're a very comprehensive organization. Our primary focus is really around education and awareness and public policy advocacy. It's all about access to eye care and ensuring everyone in this country has appropriate access to the care that they need.
So Jeff, specifically, what's your role with Prevent Blindness and how long have you been with the organization?
Sure. I've been with the organization for 18 years now. I originally started working to expand our public health presence and our public policy growth areas. That was about 18 years ago. I've been in the role of president and CEO for the last 3 years. So really touch on all aspects of our work, but my heart is still in the public health impact area of our work, and I think it is really what makes us a meaningful organization, is that we have significant depth into really impacting public health systems.
So let's touch on that for a second. I think a minute ago you were talking about advocacy initiatives that you guys have. So what are some of the advocacy initiatives you have right now? Are there any events coming up?
Yeah, we do a Focus on Eye Health National Summit every year. We've done that for about 10 years. Generally, it's in person, but last year and this year, it's virtual, which has actually allowed us to almost triple the number of people that are attending. It takes place in mid-July, and information on that can be found on our website. And it's really a place for anyone interested in vision and eye health to come learn how they can be involved and to gain information about vision and eye health. We also have every year an Eyes on Capitol Hill event where we bring patients and advocates into Washington, either live or virtually, to advocate with their members of Congress on a variety of eye health issues. And I think the program that I'm most excited about right now, it's a brand new program of ours. It's called Aspect, and it's a way to engage patients themselves. We bring patients in and really train them and equip them to be advocates for their own eye health, but also for the eye health of their friends, family, and communities.
So I want to touch on something. I'm a little bit curious here. So when you're going to Capitol Hill and advocating, what does that mean exactly?
It means really, I think at the heart of it, it's about making sure that vision and eye health is at the table when we're talking about anything that relates to public health issues. Obviously, public health is a big concern for Congress and the administration. It always has been, and it's always a hot button topic. But that doesn't necessarily mean that eye health is really discussed in any sort of significant way. So we're not really trying to get folks to really embrace eye health as a primary public health concern, but we want to make sure that when we're talking about healthcare in general, that eye health is at the table. And I think we've seen some inroads over on that in the past few years. The challenge is vision problems cost this country in the hundreds of billions of dollars every year. And yet our government is investing almost nothing towards the prevention of eye care. So that's always one of our biggest advocacy asks, is to invest a little bit more resources through the CDC, the National Eye Institute, and others to really address these significant problems.
When we're talking about going to Congress, you're talking about public advocacy. I would imagine, and I think you even touched on this a second ago, about how things were a little bit different in 2020. So how has COVID affected this whole process?
That's a great question. We were a little nervous when COVID hit of how do we continue to do this important advocacy work? How do we connect with members of Congress and their staffs? We're so used to flying to Washington and hoofing it up onto the Capitol and going into their offices and sitting down face to face. But we learned that through technology, we've been able to have an even bigger reach. I can connect a patient in Texas with their member of Congress immediately, and they can have a one-on-one video chat or with their staff. And it's allowed us to reach more people and do so in an easier manner. I don't think it will ever take away the need for those in-person visits, but we can be more strategic about how we utilize the in-person visits versus the video visits.
And that is definitely a reoccurring theme that I've heard through a lot of these interviews, is that COVID has been challenging, but that it has brought about some new things that I think we already had this technology, but all of us were sort of sticking our toe in, and I think COVID just kind of threw us in the water.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's talk about, we've talked about the government side of it, but I know you guys do a lot of stuff with, public education. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure thing. As I mentioned before, at the heart of our work, it's about access to eye care and making sure that everyone has equitable access to care. But a big part of accessing care is understanding when you need that care and understanding the importance of taking care of your eye health. So a big part of what we do is provide education to the public on a variety of eye health conditions. Some of the work that we do is just saying, hey, it's important for you to take care of your eyes. These are ways that you can do it. And other ways are through a variety of campaigns talking about all sorts of eye health conditions, from glaucoma to children's vision to eye safety issues. We're continuing to develop campaigns that target populations with topics that they're of interest to, whether they know that they have an interest in it or whether they should because of their demographics and their risk for eye conditions, eye problems.
So what are some recent programs that you could maybe describe for us?
Sure. We're actually right now in the midst of Cataract Awareness Month. So we're spending some time promoting the importance of understanding what cataract is and how to go about treating it. We have the 4th of July coming up, so we're preparing a week on fireworks eye safety and the importance of being careful when you're out celebrating. And unfortunately, there are too many people every year who either lose their eyesight or damage their eyes through fireworks safety incidents. So that's one of them. We recently did an initiative with the National Optometric Association around equity and really understanding the importance of making sure that vision care is available to all, regardless of race or other demographic profiles.
Very good. Jeff, it's interesting that you're talking about some of these policies about making sure that everybody has access to iCare Health. I've actually got a note in here to ask about the iCare Voucher program. Is that related to that?
It is. In an ideal world, everyone certainly in the U.S. would have access to iCare, to an iCare provider, and affordable access. Unfortunately, that's not the case right now. And so until we reach that ideal, we need to find stopgap measures to help people get eye care. And so we have a number of partners that provide us vouchers for free eye exams or eyeglasses that we can provide people who meet certain criteria and have a need for that eye care, so that they can take these vouchers to a local eye doctor and get a free eye exam or glasses, again, depending upon their needs and their situation. But it's been a terrific way for us to address needs across the country. We distribute those through a number of our affiliates in a few states, and we also have a number of local partners that we distribute those through as well. So it's been a really terrific way for us to fill a need that currently exists, and while we're trying to correct some of the underlying public health problems that will allow us all to have that access.
And I'm glad you touched on that because I love hearing things like that. Certainly there are things that the government can take, but I love seeing private organizations that are going out trying to help the community like that. So where do these vouchers come from? Who's providing this?
Right now, we have a couple of major partners. VSP Optical provides us quite a few vouchers that we can distribute. The One Sight Foundation is another that provides us those, and we're always looking out for other partners to provide vouchers and iCare. And we have so many eye doctors across the country that will work with us and just say, yeah, if you have a patient in need, please connect them to us, and we'll help. We also work with iCare America, which is a kind of subsidiary of the American Academy of Ophthalmology, and they provide care for certain patients who have glaucoma or other eye conditions. So we're blessed to have a number of partners that help us with this.
Jeff, this is very intriguing to me because it sounds like you guys have got your fingers in a lot of pots out there.
We're busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and one of the things that I know you're working on right now is I know that you touched on this a second ago, that July is Dry Eye Awareness Month. And I happen to know that as in my role as Executive Vice President, I signed off on this endeavor with you guys. So why don't you give a little bit more detail on what Dry Eye Awareness Month is and what that means?
Absolutely. I mentioned that we couldn't do our work without all of our partners, and OCuSoft is certainly one of those. And we're really excited about Dry Eye Awareness Month, which is coming up in July of this year. In the past, we've recognized opportunities around women's eye health and children's vision with OCuSoft, but this year we're really focusing in on Dry Eye Awareness Month. This will be our first year recognizing this, and we hope it's our first of many. We've seen over the past, I'd say, 4 to 5 years, a real rise and increase in demand for information around dry eye. I think it's often been kind of a misunderstood condition, but it's one that it impacts a lot of people. And so there's definitely a need for more awareness about what it is, ways to prevent it, and ways to treat it. And so throughout the month of July, we'll be doing a number of social media posts, a number of awareness pieces that really drive folks back to our website that maintains information on dry eye. We're really lucky in that we have a strong scientific advisory committee that helps us populate our website with information on dry eye and all these other eye conditions. But that information is only as valuable as the people that see it. And so these campaigns are all about driving traffic to get people to better educate themselves about these conditions. And we're really excited to zone in on dry eye over the month of July.
Well, and it is obviously it's a subject that's very near and dear to our heart, but I think it's a subject that not everybody understands. I think you touched on a second ago that you're hearing more and more about it, and I think part of that is because that there are probably more instances of dry eye now because of the way that we live our lives. So we live our lives staring at computer screens. We're always out and about, and all of these things are things that can contribute to dry eye. And so it is something that's important for people to be aware of because it can lead to other problems, not the least of which is just discomfort. But there are some very real issues that can come up because of dry eye. And frankly, if you're uncomfortable, there's no reason to be that way. We can, there are ways around it. And it's good to hear that you guys are looking into that.
Well, yeah. And, we really, we like to promote and educate people around conditions where there is a solution, whether it's through OCuSoft or others. It's so important to say, hey, there's this solution out there that you can access. You need to know about it. And so really promoting the importance of early detection, awareness, and understanding of dry eye is something that we're excited about.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you touched on that too. Obviously, OCuSoft is a dry eye company. We'd love for people to buy our products, but I think it's important that people know there are lots of treatments out there, and it's not something that you have to suffer through. There's in-office treatments. There's lots of different things that you can do to help with the dry eye. But I think it starts with what Prevent Blindness is doing, educating people to know that this is not something that you have to deal with. And there are lots of sometimes very easy things that you can do to stave off the problem.
Absolutely.
So let's touch on one last thing. You talked about all of this community involvement that you have, all of these different things that you're working on. How does somebody get involved with Prevent Blindness? Where would they get started? How do they volunteer? How do we get in with you guys?
I think the first step, visit our website. There are a number of opportunities to become engaged. Certainly our advocacy section will really connect you to ways to reach out, simple ways to reach out to public policymakers and say, hey, eye health matters to me, do something about this. We provide simple tools that people can utilize from the comfort of their home to reach out. We also really encourage people to be ambassadors for us and help promote the message. Join our social media channels and retweet or like or forward the information that we provide to those that you think might be of interest. And feel free, anyone can feel free to reach out to us via email or phone. All of our information is very accessible, and become engaged in ways that best suit them.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, I will be the first one to advocate here. For those of you out there, this is a great organization to be involved with. And there are lots of things around iCare that are very important to people. And absolutely go check out the website, get involved, help some people. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you so much, Thomas. And we really appreciate the partnership with OCuSoft and encourage people to visit preventblindness.org/dry eye in the month of July.